Some side hustle videos make it sound like you need to quit your job, launch a warehouse, hire a team, and become a motivational speaker all by Tuesday. But I'm going to prove that you don't need to do any of that. So today I'm breaking down 10 side hustles that I would actually look at in 2026, and these aren't random ideas. I'm talking about side hustles that can start small, use tools you probably already have, and grow into things like digital products, affiliate income, KDP books, print on demand, Substack, TikTok shops, or a simple content business. And I'll show you how I would think about each one if I was starting from zero. But before we start, this is an obvious but important disclaimer. None of these are magic. Some people can make a lot of money with these. Some people, zero, and gain only character development. So don't pick the one that sounds the most impressive. Pick the one that actually fits your real life, your actual skills, and your actual energy. Because if a side hustle requires you to be a completely different person, that's not a business plan. That's a personality transplant. The first one, Etsy digital products. And if you visited my YouTube channel before, you're not surprised by this answer because I've demonstrated that Etsy digital products are money makers if you do it right. And Etsy is still one of my favorite places to do research because you can see what people are actually buying. And I'm not talking about making one random digital product and hoping the internet collapses. I'm talking about specific digital products that solve specific problems. Things like sewing patterns, Canva templates, customizable party invitations, digital planners, budget spreadsheets, clip art bundles, teacher workshops, wedding templates, or even business forms. And the reason why I like this side hustle is because you create the product once and delivery is automatic. No shipping, no inventory, no sorry your package got lost messages at 11 p.m. But the mistake that beginners make is starting with what you want to make instead of making what people are actually buying. If I were starting today, I would search Etsy first and look for product reviews. What can I improve on? What's showing up? What customers want, and what the reviews say, and ask, what do people love? What are they complaining about? What could be improved on this particular product? What could be easier? What could be more niche? Then I would make one beginner version, not a giant shop, one product. For example, if sewing patterns are selling, I might not start with a complicated jacket pattern. I might start with a beginner-friendly tote, bag pattern, a simple dog bandana pattern, or a printable sewing project planner, or a niche dog bandana. The first step should not be to want to build an Etsy empire. The first step is to find one product people already understand and make a cleaner, more specific version. And number two, Amazon KDP, which if you've seen my channel, won't surprise you. And I know that people love saying KDP is dead. And honestly, lazy KDP is absolutely dead. The days of throwing up a random blank notebook with a Canva cover and expecting Amazon to bless your account are not what they used to be. But KDP as a system, it still works, it's still interesting, and still bringing in money. Because Amazon prints and ships the book, you create the file, you upload it, organize the listing, and it sells through Amazon. Amazon handles all the things with the physical product, even the returns. The key is not making random journals. The key is making useful books for a specific type of people. If there's a trend, make a logbook for it. Some examples are a fishing logbook, a reading tracker, garden planners, kids' activity books, coloring books for adults, homeschool planners. The list is endless, and I'll post a video here showing books that have brought in thousands of dollars. And if I was starting KDP today, I'd stay away from the whole cute journal for women as a whole idea. It's way too broad. People are niching way down. And I look for a real use case, something someone needs to track, plan, organize, or gift. Then I would look at Amazon for the reviews because that's where more ideas come from. If someone says, I wish this had more space for notes, I wish this page was bigger, I wish the font was bigger, I wish this had a checklist to go along with it. That's a cue for you. That's considered market research, and it's just sitting there unpaid doing its little job. The first step, pick one niche, study 10 books, write down what they have in common, and then make a better one. Not a whole publishing company, one book. That's where you start. And number three, print on demand. This is where you create designs for shirts, mugs, totes, or even candles, and a company prints and ships when someone orders it. This means you're not keeping 400 mugs in your closet waiting for an avalanche. You create the design, the fulfillment partner, it handles the product. And this can work on Etsy, Shopify, TikTok, or other platforms like Merch by Amazon. And no, you don't have to be a professional designer. I've seen so many top-selling designs be text only. A funny phrase, a niche joke, a hobby shirt. The secret is not making one design. The secret is testing and research. And print on demand always rewards people who spot niches, trends, identify groups, gift moments, holidays, and they use phrases that people actually want to wear. And if I were starting now, I would pick one audience to focus on. I would get to know that audience really well. An example, teachers, nurses, dog owners, book lovers, busy moms, anybody that will buy a t-shirt that has a funny saying on it. Then I would make 10 simple text designs, not one, 10, because one design is a lottery ticket. 10 designs start to become a test. First step, pick one niche, write 25 phrase ideas, make 3 simple designs, upload, learn, and repeat. And number 4, affiliate product reviews. And this is probably one of the most realistic side hustles for busy people because you can start with products you already have and you already use. You do not have to create the product, you do not have to ship the product, and you don't have to handle returns. You recommend useful things and you earn a commission if someone buys it through your link. But the key word here is useful, not I found a random thing, buy it because I need money. That is not a strategy. That's a cry for help with a link attached. And a better version is, here are the best tools I use for filming a YouTube video, the best products for organizing a kid's room, the best books for learning KDP, the best kitchen tools for busy parents, the best Amazon finds for creators. For example, I could talk about my own creator setup, my iPhone when I started, my cheap lights when I started, my cheap little mics that I had clipped on, my camera setup, any of the hacks that I've developed to make filming easier and smoother and more quality. That's affiliate content because it's based on actual use. It's based on my experiences of what I like and find helpful. The first step is make a list of 10 products or tools you actually use. For each one, write who's this for, why do I use it, and who should skip it, any hacks related to the product. And that can become a video, an article, a resource page, a Pinterest post. Number 5, Substack or newsletter. And this one people have actually been sleeping on because it doesn't feel as flashy. It doesn't bring out the dopamine like TikTok going viral. But an email list is extremely powerful because you own the audience and you can talk to them anytime. You've built a community. And a newsletter can make money from affiliate links, digital products, paid subscriptions, sponsorships, courses, workshops, books, or services. And you don't have to start as some fancy writer. You can start by curating. An example is 5 digital products I found this week, 3 KDP book ideas that I would research, best AI tool for creators, hot Etsy product ideas. This is all very doable. And if you already make YouTube videos, let me make it a little bit easier for you. One YouTube video can become a Substack article, a weekly email, 3 notes, 5 shorts, a blog post, and a product idea. And that is the whole point, not starting from scratch every single time. The first step is to pick one topic and write one useful post. Not your life story, not a 47-part manifesto, one useful post. Then invite people to subscribe. And 6, faceless or low-face content. And this is for people who want to make content, but they don't want to be on camera all the time. And I get it, it's a lot of work. And honestly, sometimes your face is not available for business. Faceless content can be screen recordings, voiceovers, tutorials, stock footage, slides, AI visuals, product demos. You can have hand-only, green screen, software walkthrough, gear walkthrough, and you can make faceless videos about anything. Laundry, cleaning, and I have a video discussing some hot topics there. The mistake is making faceless content a little too generic. You need a clear viewer, not facts about everything. Target a specific group or sub-niche, maybe stain removals, laundry tips, cleaning old rugs, and that's a much clearer audience. The first step, record one simple screen tutorial. Show one tool, solve one problem. Is it useful? Or is it entertainment? Do not build a 90-minute faceless empire in your notes app and then post nothing. That's not a channel. It's a beautifully organized avoidance system. And number 7, TikTok shop or product-based short-form content. And this one can move fast if you like products and you can explain why something's useful. You don't need to be loud. You don't need to act like every water bottle changed the course of human history. You just need to show what it is, who it's for, what problem does it solve, and who should buy it. And this can work with TikTok Shop, Amazon product reviews, affiliate links, YouTube Shorts, Reels, or a blog post. Some examples can be kids products, kitchen tools, organizers, books, craft supplies, beauty products. And if I were doing this today, I would not start by buying 50 random products. I would start with what I already own. Your house is probably full of content. It's annoying, but it's useful. The first step, pick 5 products you already use. Film one short review for each one. Keep it simple, no cinematic drama, just explain the product clearly. And number 8, UGC, known as user-generated content. And this is when brands pay you to make content that they can use in their ads or their social media. And the big difference is that you don't always need an audience. Sometimes you just fit their demographic that they're trying to reach. You're not getting paid because you have a huge following. You're getting paid because you make a usable video that matches the demographic that they're trying to reach. And that could be a product demo, a testimonial, an unboxing, a before and after, a voiceover, a problem solution video, or a screen recording for an app. And this is good for people who are comfortable making short videos and they don't want to spend years building an audience first. And honestly, brands often want normal people, normal homes, real voices, and real use. No one has to look like they're stepping out of a commercial. They want real, genuine people. And I've seen this over and over again. The first step is to make 3 sample videos using products that you already own. 1 demo, 1 review, 1 problem solution video. And then you put them in a simple portfolio, and that's enough to start pitching or applying. And number 9, local services. I know I talk a lot about online side hustles, but local services can make money faster because people already need help. Some examples are lawn games for parties, event rentals, cookie decorating classes, kid party activities, walking tours, pet sitting, house sitting. The list can go on and on. Food cart or tiny pop-up food setups. These do really well for weddings or outside events. The reason why I like this is because one local service can also turn into online content too. An example is if you rent long games for parties, that can also become TikTok, affiliate links, party supplies, printable checklist, a birthday party planning guide, and eventually a digital product system. If you teach cookie decorating, that can become local classes, printable icing guide, affiliate links, a YouTube channel, holiday kits. And this is the part that people usually miss. One side hustle does not have to stay one income stream. Your first step is to look around your local area. What do parents, offices, schools, tourists, or even event hosts already pay for? Because I would start there. And number 10 is the one I would personally choose. If I wanted to start from zero, I would choose a hybrid content business. I know it sounds fancy, but it's actually really simple. You pick one topic and you create helpful content around that topic. You build an email list, recommend tools, you sell digital products, you publish on YouTube, TikTok, Substack, your website, and email. And that's the business, not one random side hustle, it's a system. If your local service is selling customized cake pops and you have a cart that you push into a wedding, make a digital product, how to start your own pop-up cart business, how to decorate cake pops. If you want to create content around it, you can wear something like this. So when you're preparing the cake pops, you can have hands-free content being filmed while you prepare these cake pops. That can go on your channel so you don't have any extra documenting when you're trying to create content. And recommend the tools that you use, the services you use, and document when you're at these events. Say, this is what I'm building. I'm building this cake pop business. And honestly, this is why I like YouTube, because YouTube can be a terrific traffic engine. You could probably get more local business by posting online anyway. Then your products, emails, affiliate links, and your website becomes the business behind it. The video will get attention, email list builds, the product creates revenue, the affiliate links add another income stream, and the website becomes the hub. And this is the model I would pick because it can evolve. If one product doesn't work, you can test another. If one platform slows down, you still have an email list. And if one video pops, it can feed everything else. So the first step is to pick one topic that you can talk about for, say, 6 months. Then create one video, one short, one email, or one Substack post, one simple freebie, or a product idea. That's it. That's the loop. Just repeat it. So if you're overwhelmed, don't pick the side hustle that sounds the biggest. Pick the one that has the lowest friction. If you like research, start with Etsy or KDP. If you like touching products and talking, start with affiliate reviews or TikTok shop style content. If you like writing, start with Substack or blogging. If you like making things, start digital products or print on demand. And if you like being on camera, try UGC or YouTube. But if you want long-term leverage, try to build the hybrid content business. The goal is not to pick the perfect idea forever. The goal is to start one and then test it. One product, one video, one page, one offer, just one useful thing. That's how you're going to find out what works. Okay, so those are the 10 side hustles that I would actually start in 2026. Not because they're easy, but because you can start small and you can grow and evolve them. And that's actually what I care about. A side hustle should not just be another task. It should give you a path. Start with one idea, turn it into content, turn it into a product, add affiliate links, build on an email list, and just keep going. And this is how a small side hustle can become something bigger. Comment below which one you want to start first. And if you want to see how one hobby with a little creativity can turn into 5 digital products, watch this video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.